Hi, Patrick here. Have Cheeto View, and we're here for another Dollar Tree Theater. So this week I found a set at the library. Um, it's a set of four movies featuring Miss Marple from Agatha Christie, starring Margaret Rutherford. Um, yeah, this was interesting. I had actually never heard of this series at all. I know who just Miss Marple is, and I've seen some of the BBC ones, and I believe Judy Dench played Miss Marple a couple of times. So Miss Marple has been played a few times by a few different actresses, but I was unaware of this one here. So the movie that we'll be talking about today is called Murder She Said. Of course, Miss Marple was also the inspiration for their Murder She Wrote series, featuring Angela Lansbury as Jessica Fletcher, who basically went around solving mysteries very much like Miss Marple does. Um, this was a little different. This one stars Margaret Rutherford, who went on after this series was over, after the four movies were over. She went on to do other films, and she actually won herself a Golden Globe and an Oscar after she did the Miss Marple series. Uh, so this Murder She Said is a takeoff of the Agatha Christie novel the 450 to Paddington. So the story opens up with Miss Marple on a train. She's on a train. She's reading the book, and she gets woken up. And as she gets woken up, trains are passing by, and one train passes by pretty slow. At their speed, it's a little bit faster. And she's looking at the other train, and next thing she knows, she sees someone getting murdered. Someone is being strangled. A young woman is being strangled. Obviously, we don't see the killer, other than he is killing her, and he's got gloves on. Of course, Miss Marple reaches out to the train, the conductor, and says, "Hey, I just saw a murder. We have to tell the police." So they stop. They do tell the police, and Miss Marple heads back to her house. The next day, the inspector comes by, and he tells Miss Marple that they have looked high and low for any signs of someone being murdered. Nobody, no signs of any sort of crime has taken place. Um, and Inspector Craddock, he thinks that she's a little bit doddering. And so, it's just, maybe you just imagine, after all, you were reading a novel, maybe you just thought you saw what you did. Or maybe they were, or maybe they were just fooling around. That's what they said. But of course, Miss Marple's not having any of that. So she takes her good friend Stringer, who not obviously, but Stringer Davis was actually Margaret Rutherford's in real life husband. So he got to play the Stringer got to play Jim Stringer. So that was really cool because you can see the chemistry between the two. Um, so Jim Stringer is her man Friday, so to speak. And so Miss Marple and or Jane, if you want. But Miss Marple and Jim Stringer, they head out on the train track, but where Miss Marple thinks that she saw the murder, and they find clues. They find clues that yes, a crime has been committed. They found a piece of false fur that the woman was wearing. So obviously the woman had been on the train, just didn't know how she got off or where she went. Well, they go ahead and they look over the fence, and there's this massive house, and that belongs to the Acklenthorpe family. So the next day, Miss Marple goes down to the employment agency, and she gets hired on as a domestic at the Acklenthorpe house, and she heads on over there to work as a cleaning lady. And of course, the father, the man who was runs it, Luther Ackenthorpe, not a nice man. Not a nice man. Really a bit of a prig, so to speak. And we meet all the family. Of course, there's shenanigans going on. The dad is very bitter. He's old and he's not getting very much better. The doctor is there. Dr. Paul Quinniper is there. He's taking care of the dad. The dad has nothing to do with any of the family, except for maybe the grandson. And I'm not even so sure about that. So Miss Marple goes in there and she gets lay of the land. Alexander's there. He's about a boy about 13 or 14. And Emma is there. She's the daughter. And as played by Muriel Pavlov. Very pretty girl, too. And so she gets inside the house and then she starts to investigate. And we see various subjects, various suspects, red herrings. There's even a couple of more victims in play. And Alexander immediately picks up on Miss Marple, knowing that she's not what she appears to be. And he proceeds to help her when he can. And when the two of them when Miss Marple discovers the body on the train, everything gets raised up to a whole different level. And what was really cool about this movie too is one of the who played one of the sons of Luther is Ronald Howard, who played Sherlock Holmes for a year back in a series back in the 60s, and he plays Alexander's father. But it was very cool. I didn't know anybody in this movie. When I saw him sit at the dinner table, I said, "Holy crow! It's Sherlock Holmes." And so, two of the best fictional detective characters created in Miss Marple and, of course, Sherlock Holmes in the same movie. It was pretty fun. And I will spoil it a little bit by saying that Sherlock Holmes did not kill anybody. Though that would have been weird. What's really interesting, too, is that Joan Hickson plays Mrs. Kidder. And Joan Hickson would later go on to do a BBC series of Miss Marple. The story is really, it's played for laughs. And Agatha Christie did not really like this series too much. Miss Marple, like Margaret Rutherford did a nice job. I mean, she's very interesting, and she's in her 70s, and she's very English looking, and she's not anything that you would think, like at all. It's like when you see her, you're like sort of surprised, but it works. It absolutely works. I couldn't figure out if I really liked this movie because I know I've seen Miss Marple's before, and they're pretty much like Poirot's. They're good mysteries, but they're not very, I would call, lighthearted. I would actually call them pretty heavy. Actually, I mean, people are dying, and and trying to catch the killer. But at least in this one, at least in this adventure, Murder She Said, they play it lightly. And they really want you to figure out who did it. They emphasize the mystery, though it's not without its own share of violence. There's a couple of scenes in there that, even for the 60s, they were probably pushing it a little bit. But Agatha Christie did not like this because it played Miss Marple more as a doddering, more lighthearted, a little bit of slapstick, so to speak. So she really didn't like it too much, at least not the first movie. Some of the other movies, she sort of warmed up to it a little bit, but this first one she did not like. That's a shame. That's a shame because, I mean, yes, they changed some things around from the book to the movie. Of course, we've already seen evidence of that, right? That's right, Stephen King. We feel you, brother. But overall, this is a fun movie and a great introduction to the series of 4 films by Margaret Rutherford. And there's no extras on this. I was hoping for some sort of extras. They just run trailers for the 4 movies, and that's about it. It did make some money. It made about a $500,000 at the box office, and that triggered it for more movies. People seem to like them, so they made 3 other ones, and we'll be covering them shortly. All right. Let me know what detective character is your favorite. Is it Sherlock Holmes? Is it Hercules Poirot? Is it McCloud? Who knows, right? Could be McCloud. Could be Macmillan and wife. Let us know who your favorite detectives are in the comment section below. And I'll come by and take a look at your comments, and I'll answer them when I get back. All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. Oh, yeah. Hit the like button, and yeah, leave that comment. But hit the like button. Thanks.